So I want to bring to you guys something new that I've heard, which I've experienced. And it's a term that I'm going to investigate with you guys right now, but I've definitely felt the effects of this word. Maybe you guys have experienced this as well, and it's called lawfare. That's where the law is essentially waging war against you in such a way that, like with me and the abduction of my son, they're not helping. They're ignoring or destroying the reports. And even if you do get the report in, they're just not really moving on it. It's sitting there like the courts do sometimes in a process they like to call dead docketing. Sure, it's there. Doesn't mean they have to actually enforce it if they don't like you. So, because of that lawfare, I'm going to go 100 times harder now. What do they say? Let sleeping dragons lie? Hmm, probably a good idea. So let's take a look and see what we can find as lawfare and see what exactly is that. And is it a real word? What are signs of it? Let's take a gander, shall we? As always, don't forget to hit that bell, like, subscribe. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. And if this is your first time here, welcome to the tribe. Let's get it in. Okay. Let's say, what is lawfare? Is it a legal recognized word? The and describe the numerous examples of it, say 10, of how they use it against us. So let's see what it has to say. Okay, so let's hit it, split it, and quit it.
Short answer first. Lawfare is a real, widely used word. It's in major dictionaries and in academic/military writing.
Imagine that. It's an academic and military writing. Like everything is in maritime admiralty jurisdiction.
Writing. Broadly, it means using legal systems, rules, or procedures as a weapon to harass, delegitimize, delay, bankrupt, censor, or otherwise neutralize an opponent instead of, or alongside, military or political means. +1. A little background, key sources. The modern, often cited formulation comes from Major General Charles J. Dunlap, Jr. Law used as a method of warfare, the use of law as a weapon of war. That formulation is widely discussed in military and legal scholarship. +1. There's also a large contemporary literature and commentary, the LAWFARE site/blog, academic papers, and press coverage, treating the term both descriptively, what actors do, and critically, when the term is over or misapplied. Default +1. Below are 10 common ways lawfare is used in practice, short description plus why it's considered lawfare. I give a supporting citation for the most load-bearing claim types. 10 concrete examples/techniques of lawfare. SLAPS, strategic lawsuits against public participation, civil suits to silence critics. Private plaintiffs file merit light but expensive defamation or business tort suits to force critics, journalists, or NGOs to defend themselves, chill speech, or bankrupt an opponent. Many jurisdictions now have anti-SLAP laws because this tactic is systemic. +1. Politically motivated criminal prosecutions, selective enforcement. Charging or investigating political opponents, activists, or rivals to damage reputation or remove them from the public/political arena even when the legal case is weak or selectively pursued. Scholars and watchdogs debate when a prosecution is lawfare versus legitimate law enforcement. +1. Abusive use of Interpol red notices and extradition requests. Authoritarian states, and sometimes bad actors, use Interpol requests or extradition redress to pursue dissidents, exiles, or opponents across borders. International policing mechanisms can be weaponized. There are documented abuses and reform calls. +1. Gag orders/secrecy plus civil discovery as control tools. Using subpoenas, court gag orders, or protective orders to prevent disclosure, to bury critics in discovery costs, or to legally prevent an opponent from telling their story, which functions like censorship without an obvious political label. Asset freezes, civil forfeiture, and targeted sanctions. Freezing bank accounts, civil forfeiture seizures, or sanctions that deprive an opponent of funds and operational capacity, often litigated under complex statutory/regulatory regimes and sometimes applied selectively. This is a legal route to the same ends as economic or military pressure. Regulatory and licensing enforcement used as punishment. Triggering audits, professional license revocation, or regulatory investigations, tax audits, licensing probes, to harass an individual or organization, even if the underlying violations are minor or disputed. Administrative tools can be long, damaging, and politically calibrated. Civil litigation to bankrupt or absorb rivals, strategic civil claims. Filing serial civil suits, business torts, RICO, or massive damages claims, to force expensive defenses, settlement pressure, or to obtain injunctions that hinder the defendant's operations. Criminal defamation, insult, or broad anti-extremism laws used to silence journalists/NGOs. Countries have used defamation, national security, or cybercrime statutes to criminalize reporting or civic dissent. International watchdogs document rising legal pressures on media. Trust.org +1. Venue shopping and forum shopping tactics. Picking sympathetic jurisdictions, or removing cases to venues with favorable procedural rules, to gain tactical advantage, e.g., suing in a jurisdiction that will delay or hamper the defendant's ability to litigate or campaign. International legal instruments used for geopolitical pressure, treaty/tribunal claims. Bringing, or abusing, international human rights claims, trade remedy petitions, or international arbitration to politically pressure states, companies, or activists, shifting the fight into slow, costly international legal processes. Why these matter/what's at stake? Lawfare can be a legitimate tool, using courts to challenge unlawful conduct, enforce rights, or hold power to account is core to the rule of law. But when law is used instrumentally, to silence, bankrupt, exile, or intimidate opponents, it undermines justice and civic life. That dual nature is why the term is contested. Wikipedia +1. How targets and defenders can Respond, brief. Anti-SLAPP laws/procedural defenses ask courts to dismiss meritless suits early. Public transparency/reputation defense, rapid, clear public responses and legal counters. Jurisdictional and due process challenges, fight extradition abuses, red notice abuses. ChatGPT. Pull 10 real-world cases with documents.
Hey, let's take a look at the next section. Let's pull some real world cases here. So in other words, this is an abuse of the law. They're using the law to either do things against you or to hamper what you're trying to do. Dirty pool. Dirty, dirty. In other words, like lawfare being used against me is them just not doing anything. That's a form of lawfare. They're using law as so even though it was pulling 10 cases, now look, it just froze up. Something went wrong while generating a response. Retry. Okay. So, all right. So here they're talking about lawfare against Julian Assange, Alexei Navalny, Solhatan Diretras, Operation Lava Jato in Brazil. So some of these aren't from here, but this is something that we haven't really talked about on my channel. These are all real things. So that's it, guys. Just once again, bringing you guys into the light of things that you didn't know, and maybe some of these things were used against you. Do you feel that they've used the law against you in a warfare type way? Hopefully they haven't, but if they have, how do we combat that? Because here's the thing. Here's my thought on it. So, okay, so yeah, they're negligent in their duty, but now either I have to file a lawsuit or I have to get other agencies involved, which then backs me up a step in my primary plight. That's also then a form of lawfare. You want to grab the apple, but they take away the ladder. So now you got to complain to the people who oversee the ladder to go after the people who took away your ladder. So it pushes you back from your goal. You see what I'm saying here? That's there's multiple ways, and I don't know where I have my book, Sun Tzu's The Art of War somewhere. I don't see it. But anyway, that book is very fascinating. It teaches you that there's more than one way to bother people. Like I've had some people go, "Oh, I'm not afraid of this," or "I'm not afraid of that," and I'm like, "Okay, well, you don't have to." What about your mom? What about your dad? What about your kids? You might think you're untouchable, but nobody is. Nobody is. But there's ways to get at you indirectly, and that's what everybody seems to forget. There's more than one way to fillet a flounder, we'll say. All right, guys, that's it. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed this and learned something new, something to be aware of. By the time you're done watching all of my videos, you guys will be Jedi Knights or maybe Sith Lords, depending on how you want to use the information. It's up to you. Here, as non-belligerents, non-combatants, neutral parties, I hope that you guys can conduct yourselves in the proper ways. We are not responsible for how you use or misuse or your individual results, which may vary. Any of this information contained here, any of my sites, videos, materials, etc., etc. So people go, well, what are you then? Are you the Dark Lord? Or are you the White Knight? Mm, more like a gray Jedi. I try to balance the Force. That being said, have a great night. Get some rest. Enjoy your day. And make tomorrow even greater. I'll talk to you guys later. Wolf's out. Oh, hit that bell and the like and the subscribe.